Welcome to the channel and Happy New Year. For today's practice, you'll need a blanket and a yoga belt. If you don't have a yoga belt for today, you can use a belt around your home. It doesn't have to be a yoga belt. And you don't need a blanket necessarily, but it's beneficial to have a blanket to elevate the hips a little bit. And you want a blanket that's got some thickness to it if you have one of those laying around your house. If you have all these props, then you are good to go. Let's start in Sukhasana. Legs crossed, hands on the knees. We're going to close our eyes here. And bring your awareness to your breath. Start to bring your awareness to your natural in and out breath without you forcing the breath. And begin to soften the muscles in the face, soften the eyes. On the inhalation, bring your awareness to the face, to any tension that you might be holding. On the exhalation, soften the muscles in the face, soften the eyes, soften the jaw. And bring your awareness to your knees and allow the knees to drop towards the floor. And bring your awareness to your sit bones, sitting on the blanket or on the floor. Just feel the sit bones on the floor and let the sit bones drop into the floor. And now if you need to look up here for reference, you can briefly. You're going to lift the pit of your abdomen and lift your sternum. So lifting the pit of the abdomen, lifting the sternum, straightening the spine. So just feel that connection between the earth, right, your sit bones on the floor, and then the spine lifting, gently lifting away from the floor. Spend a few breaths here just surrendering to the present moment. And now slowly open the eyes, interlock the hands in front of you and turn the palms out. Press the palms towards the wall in front of you and then bring the arms up. Drop the sit bones into the floor and move the hands away from the sit bones up towards the ceiling, lengthening the arm, lengthening the sides of the body. Feel that length. And release. And now bring your right leg out. Bring your right leg out. Pull the toes back towards your head. This is where you'll need your belt. So this depends on you and how open the hamstrings are for you. If you can touch the feet here with a relatively straight back, then you do not need the belt. But if you can't do that, a belt is very beneficial to give you that little bit of elevation so you can keep the spine lifted here in Janu Shirshasana. So let's go ahead and grab the left ankle and pull it all the way up. Pull the heel all the way up to the top of the inner right thigh. You want the legs to be at least 90 degrees here. You can go beyond 90 degrees that way, but not less than 90 degrees. All right, so I'll put mine at about 90 degrees here. Grab your belt, wrap it around the right foot. Press the right thigh down into the floor. Press the left knee down towards the floor. Straighten the arms. Lift the pit of the abdomen. Lift the sternum. Feel that right thigh, the bones of the right thigh rooting into the floor. And the toes pulled back towards your head, toes pointing straight up towards the ceiling here. And then lift the pit of the abdomen, lift the sternum. Feel the sit bones on the blanket, evenly on the blanket. And now release your right arm and bring it behind you. Come onto the tips of your fingers. Press the right arm into the floor. Lift the pit of the abdomen, lift the sternum, and pull yourself into a twist. So you're pushing with that right arm to come into this twist, and you're pulling with the left arm to come into the twist. Look over the right shoulder. Lift the pit of the abdomen, lift the sternum, and move the sternum away from the left knee. Just kind of feel that lift and twist away from the left knee. Keep the face soft here. Press the right thigh down into the floor. And release and catch the belt again with the right hand. Inhale, exhale, try to drop the belly onto the thigh and bring the forehead closer to the shin. You'll notice here that I can't do that. I want to stress the point that yoga isn't about you coming to yoga already incredibly flexible. Yoga is wherever you are, right? So press that right thigh down, try to drop the belly onto the thigh, try to drop the forehead to the knee. And inhale, come up, bring the feet together, put the belt around the left foot. Bend the right leg, grab the right ankle, pull the heel all the way up to the top of the inner left thigh. Pull the toes back towards your head, press the left thigh down into the floor, press the right knee down into the floor. Catch the belt with both hands, straighten the arms, lift the pit of the abdomen, and lift the sternum. So you're rooting into the floor and then pulling away from the floor with the spine, gently pulling away. Practicing ahimsa, non-violence, right? Just be very aware. Lifting the energy up from the earth into the body. And now release the left hand. Bring the left hand to your side here. Top tips of the fingers on the floor. Straighten the left arm. Straighten the right arm. Inhale, push. Push with your left arm and pull with your right arm to come into a twist here. Lift the pit of the abdomen, lift the sternum. Make sure the right knee is dropping down. You're pulling the sternum away from that right knee to come into the twist. Look over the left shoulder. Feel the spine lifting and twisting, lifting and twisting, lifting the pit of the abdomen, lifting the sternum, pressing the left thigh down into the floor, pulling the toes back towards your head. Lifting and twisting. Inhale, exhale, release, catch the belt with both hands. Inhale, exhale, drop the belly onto the thigh and bring the forehead down as much as you can, rounding the back if needed. And inhale, come up, release the belt, and let's stand. You can remove your blankets here. Stand in the center of your mat. Bring the toe mounds together. So when I say toe mounds, I'm talking about you can see the toe mounds here, right? There's your big toe mound, your little toe mound, your inner heel, and your outer heel. I'll mention those things occasionally as I teach the postures here. So bring the toe mounds together and then the heels slightly apart, about 1 inch to 1.5 inches apart. And then begin to press the feet down into the floor. So let's lift the toes here. And now you can really feel the toe mounds, right? And you can feel the inner heel and the outer heel. Make sure the weight is even on the feet. Maybe a little bit more into the heels, about 60% into the heels. So just feel the big toe mound, the little toe mound, the inner heel and the outer heel, and then lift the flesh of the thighs away from the floor. Now spread the toes wide here and see if you can still feel the toe mounds on the floor with the toes on the ground. Now drop the bones into the floor, root yourself into the floor, feel the feet dropping into the floor, feel the heels dropping into the floor. Lift the kneecaps, all right? So lift these kneecaps up away from the floor and pull the energy of the earth up into the legs. And just feel the legs here in this pose. Feel yourself rooting and lifting. Good. Now, engage the buttocks a little bit and bring the sacrum into the body. So the sacrum is the very bottom of the spine. Move the sacrum into the body and towards the wall in front of you. And stop there, right? So feel that energy pulling up into the legs. Make sure the weight is even on the feet, lifting the flesh of the thighs, moving the sacrum into the body. So just observe how the legs feel right now. Good, now lift the pit of the abdomen, lift the sternum, roll the shoulders back and drop the shoulder blades towards the floor. Keep the face soft as you do these postures. And now move the hands away from the shoulders, returning that energy back to the earth. Good, now interlock your hands, turn the palms out, and move the arms up. Press the feet down, lift the kneecaps, move the sacrum into the body, right? So sacrum's moving towards the wall in front of you, or towards me. Lift the pit of the abdomen, lift the sternum, and move the hands away from the feet. Feel that length. All right, so you're rooting into the floor and then lifting away from it. And release. Bring your hands to your chest, bend your knees, and walk the feet 4.5 to 5 feet apart. Bring your hands to your waist. Rotate the right leg out and look down. Make sure that the front heel is lined up with the back arch. And then rotate the left foot in about 15 degrees, right? So if your foot's like this, rotate it in about 15 degrees. Keep the right leg bent. Hands on the hips. Feel the feet pressing into the floor, just like you did in Tadasana, the pose that we just did. This is Utthita Parshvottanasana. This pose here, right? So now begin to bend the right knee and move the knees away from each other. Feel the knees moving away from each other and grab your right hand, bring it behind you and press the right hip into the body as you bend the knees and move the knees away from each other. So in this pose, if you have some flexibility in the hips and you're able to drop the pelvis pretty far down to the floor, make sure that the knee does not extend beyond the ankle. So if you're able to go a little bit lower, then walk the feet further apart. All right, now feel the knees moving away from each other. Bring the right hip into the body. Press the left thigh towards the wall behind you. Inhale. Exhale, drop. Move the knees away from each other. Bring the left arm up. Left bicep right next to the left ear. Inhale. Exhale, drop the right elbow onto the right knee. Palm facing up. And look up towards the ceiling. Inhale. Exhale, move the knees away from each other. You can use that right elbow to press that right knee towards the wall behind you. Strong back leg here. Thigh pressing towards the wall behind you. Now straighten the left arm and like someone's pulling you from the heavens. Inhale, come up. Rotate the right leg back. Rotate the left leg out. Keep the knee bent here. And now rotate the right foot in about 15 degrees. Make sure your alignment is good. Heel lined up with the back arch. Hands on the hips here. Inhale. Exhale, move the knees away from each other. Feel the knees moving away. Bring your left arm behind you. Press the left hip into the body. As you move the knees away, feel that opening through the groin here. Walk the feet further apart if you need to. If you're able to drop down further, bring the right arm up. Bicep near the ear. Inhale, exhale, drop onto the left knee. Look up towards the ceiling. Press that right heel down into the floor. You can use your left elbow to move that left knee towards the wall behind you. And straighten the right arm like someone's pulling you up. Inhale, come up. Rotate the left leg back. Bring the hands onto the hips. And rest here for a few minutes. You'll notice I'm a little bit out of breath because I'm talking to you while I'm doing the postures. Very challenging standing poses, very wonderful. Great hip opener, Utthita Parshvakonasana is. All right, rotate your right leg out and let's do this again. Now think about those alignment points in the legs and let's do it on your own a little bit, right? So you move the knees away from each other, drop the pelvis down. Bring the right hip into the body. Bring the left arm up. Inhale, exhale, drop the elbow onto the knee. Now let's focus on the top part of the body here. Press that left heel down into the floor and move the left arm away from that heel. Bicep is near the ear, lengthening the entire side of the top of your body. Now let's rotate the navel away from the floor and the top hip away from the floor. Inhale, exhale, rotate and drop the pelvis. Inhale, exhale, rotate and drop the pelvis. Now straighten the left arm. Inhale, come up and switch sides. You can bring your hands onto your hips here if you need to rest for a minute. Inhale, exhale, move the knees away from each other, dropping the pelvis down. Bring the right arm up. Inhale, exhale. Bring the elbow onto the knee. Press the right heel down into the floor. Press the right thigh towards the wall behind you. Move the right hand away from the right heel. Lengthening the top side of the body. And rotate the navel away from the floor and the top hip away from the floor. Looking up towards the ceiling. Inhale. Exhale, rotate and drop. And straighten the right arm like someone's pulling you up. Inhale, come up and walk the feet together. Bring the toe mounds together, big toe mounds together, heels slightly apart. Press the feet down, right? Lift the kneecaps and internally rotate the thighs towards each other. So the knees, if they're like this, start to rotate them that way. So they're internally rotating. Reach up and catch the elbows. Press the feet down and move the elbows away from the feet. Inhale. Exhale with a straight back as much as you can. until you can no longer keep it straight, and then release, drop the elbows and drop the head. Press the thighs towards the wall behind you. Just let the spine lengthen here. Let the head drop. Let the arms drop. Bring your hands onto the tops of your thighs. Press into the thighs. Inhale and straighten the back. Exhale. Inhale, come all the way up. Sweep the arms up over your head, palms together. Exhale. Drop the thumbs into the heart center, looking down into the pit of the thumbs. And release. All right, now widen the knees and sit back on the heels. Drop the belly in between the thighs. Bring the hands out in front of you. All right, keep the sit bones on the heels and walk the hands away from the knees here. As much as you can. And now shift your weight forward. Curl the toes under. Have the feet about hip distance apart. Come onto the tips of your toes here. Press the hands into the floor. Hands are spread wide here. Press the hands into the floor, straightening the arms, and drop the chest down. And then let the head hang. Shoulder blades moving away from the spine, widening the upper back. Inhale. Exhale. Press the heels down into the floor, lengthening the backs of the legs. Let the head drop here. Press the heels down to the floor and rotate the sit bones away from the heel, dropping the chest a little further towards the floor. Let the head hang. Press the hands in the floor, length through the arms. Inhale. Exhale. Shift the weight forward slightly. Drop the knees back down onto the floor. Uncurl the toes. Move the knees towards the outer edge of the mat. Sit back on the heels. Drop the belly in between the thighs. Place the forehead on the floor. Move your arms out in front of you. Keep the sit bones on the heels or as close to the heels as you can. And then use the hands, use the fingers to walk the arms, walk the hands away from the knees. As much as you possibly can. Feel that length in the spine, that length in the side of the body. Let the belly just drop in between the knees. Inhale. Exhale. Now press the hands into the floor like you're pushing the floor away from you. Keep the face soft, eyes soft. And then release the elbows. Let the shoulders drop. No tension in the body here. Eyes closed. Let the body surrender, the weight of the body surrendering into the floor. And then slide your hands underneath your shoulders. Press into the floor. Inhale and come up. Now grab your blanket. Bring it to the front of your mat. This will be for your head. If you don't have a blanket, don't worry about it. We're going to come into Shavasana now. I like to use a blanket for my head. It's just a little bit more comfortable in Shavasana. All right, so if you are using a blanket will just touch the shoulders below the blanket. Kind of roll the shoulders in, palms facing up, and drop into the floor.
Bring your awareness to your breath. Your natural in and out breath. Observe how the body feels after this practice. Notice any openings in the body where there was previous tightness, and allow the body to completely surrender to this moment. Begin to feel a sense of appreciation for your body and for this moment. Send a smile to this new body that you feel in this new moment, in this new year. Allow a sense of hope to settle into the muscles and the organs and in every cell of the body. Release this feeling to the universe.
And now bend your knees. Bring the knees into your chest and roll over onto your right side. Now press your left hand into the floor. Press your left hand right in front of your chest. Press it into the floor and inhale, come up. Bring your blanket back to where it was at the very beginning of practice and sit in Sukhasana. Legs crossed. Hands on the knees, palms facing up. Let the knees drop, let the sit bones drop. Lift the pit of the abdomen, lift the sternum. Eyes closed here. And bring your hands together, palms together, thumbs right at the heart center. And slowly open the eyes. Namaste. Thank you for joining me today.